So the husband asked his wife, "What do you wish you had done differently?" And without even batting an eye, she said, I recently was listening to a podcast, and it was a husband and wife, and they were past the age of having children in their home. So they were empty nesters. Their kids were married and they had grandkids. And the husband asked his wife this question. Hi guys, I'm Danielle, homeschooling mother of 7. This is Hogan Life. Welcome to my channel. We're going to just have a little talk about children, raising kids, regrets, and most importantly, not having regrets. So the husband asked his wife, "What do you wish you had done differently?" She said, "I wish I had played with them more. I wish I had just gotten down on the floor, dropped what I was doing, and just played." And that resonated with me, and probably with a lot of you. The fact that we have so much to do all the time. We have so much housework, so much laundry. The kids' room needs to be cleaned. Dinner needs to be made. The bills need to be paid. There's always a list a mile long. And even if it's not a written list, that list is in your head. And every minute that you're walking around your house, you are adding things onto that list, for good or bad. The mental list is exhausting for a mom. So I wrote down 5 things that I think have impact, that I think are super important to just keep myself aware. If other moms, having already been through the stages that I am currently at, have regrets about not taking just that little bit of time to just be in the moment with their kids, then I know that I'm going to get through this very busy, very overwhelmed season in my life. And if I don't monitor the decisions I'm making every day with those things in mind, then I might have those same regrets. And if there's one thing I like to do, I like to learn from past generations. I like to learn from my mom. I like to learn from the women who have gone before me, who have done the same thing that I've done and can offer me advice. So I want to share those 5 things that are on my list. I don't have to do all of them every day, but I want to make sure that at least 1 or 2 of these things on my list, I am making an intentional effort to do with my kids. Now, I have 7 kids, so sometimes that effort really requires intention and maybe a little bit of planning. I think that we can go through this season, enjoy it, love it, go on to the next season, and appreciate the next season without regret. So I want to make sure I'm just sucking the marrow out of this season with my kids, enjoying them, enjoying being a mom, enjoying to a measure just the craziness of our lives. So of course, the first thing on my list is read to my kids. Sometimes even if it's just one little critter book or mouse soup book, one if you give a pig a pancake. Just one book. I never want to go through the day where I haven't cuddled my kids and read a simple book. Now with the older kids, it's a little bit more complicated. I don't read to them every day, but we do have a family read aloud that I try to include in our basket time. I have this picture in my head when it comes to reading, and it's me on the couch with my kids, and we've got blankets, and we're just kind of cozied on in together, sharing a story. So it doesn't always look like that, and it doesn't have to look like that, but I do want to make sure that the books are getting in. I've talked in the past a lot about why read to your children, but in the simplest terms, when you read together, you share adventure. So it's not just about what you're teaching them by the content of your story or the way you enunciate your words, good grammar, vocabulary, whatever that is. I'm not even talking about that. It's the moments that you share when you're having adventures together. Second thing is have a conversation where you listen. You ask questions and you let them talk. Now, this is easier said than done, especially when you have so many kids, when you have kids at varying ages, because it seems like someone is always talking to you and wanting to be heard. And it's very easy to just kind of shut them down and say, not now. And I'm not saying that there are not moments and times throughout the day where I'm like, now is not a good time. We're going to talk about this later. Having a little bit more intention, saying, tell me about that. What do you think about that? Some of the conversations you have with your kids are so amazing, so memorable. And maybe they won't remember what you talked about, but they'll remember that mom is the one I can always come to and talk to. And that is something that I really want my kids always to have in their mind as they're growing up, as they're getting into their teens, as they're going through different challenging relational things, as they get married, as their parents. I want them to know that mom is someone they can always come to. My third thing is wrestle, tickle, laugh. I have 5 boys. Wrestling is a big deal. Just very active, energetic play. It's a big deal, but it doesn't have to be wrestling. It could just be tickling. It could just be laughing together. And it doesn't have to take a large quantity of time. And that's the beauty of these things. It can be 2 minutes. It's not about checking it off the list, but essentially when you have a list where you're like, these things are important, I want to make sure that a couple of them are checked off the list, you can look at it that way. You're like, okay, I did that. good. The fourth thing on the small and important list is dance. This might not come naturally, you might not do it a lot, but it's really important and really wonderful, especially when you have younger kids. However, the older ones are actually the ones that appreciate dancing most. It doesn't have to be slow dance. It can be wild worship music. We love to dance and worship the Lord together. One of my favorite things is to put on rock and roll music and we just dance and some of us spin. It's just fun. And what it does is it lightens the mood. It enhances the moment and makes your kids laugh. It makes you laugh. And sometimes as a mom, when things are just kind of overwhelming and kind of tense, it's really important to remember to laugh. Laugh about things and laugh with your kids. So sometimes at the end of the day, I like to ask myself, did I laugh today? Because I hear them laughing all the time. Sometimes I'm stern. I'm like the drill sergeant going in and bringing order everywhere I go. But did I laugh with my kids? Did I laugh with my husband? Did I laugh with myself? I don't want to be too much of a stick in the mud, even though I am the one who has to run the home to make sure things get done, our school gets done, our chores get done. Did I laugh today? And the fifth one is sit on the floor and play. Guys, it doesn't take that much effort to sit down when you notice a game going on and just take a few minutes. I have to really force myself to do this because when my kids are playing nicely, I see it as the opportunity to get done the millions of things that I need to get done or the dozen of things that I need to get done. And it is. I'm like always looking for those opportunities where they're occupied, especially the little guys. But sometimes it's just vital to just can it for 5 minutes and sit down, do shapes, do a puzzle, play a game, play cars, build a couple Legos. If you have older kids, this might look like painting your nails. It might look like asking them about the book they're reading. It's going to look different with each age group, with each child, but the whole concept of sitting down on the floor and playing is to just kind of let go of what you're doing in the moment and totally engage in an activity that your child is interested in. Especially being a homeschool mom, I'm always trying to teach. I'm trying to get them involved in something that is more educational. I have this mindset all the time. I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to make sure they're learning, make sure their minds are stimulated and they're asking questions. Sometimes I just need to stop all of that and just be with my kids on the floor, playing or drawing or whatever they're doing. So those are 5 things. The one thing I'm probably not going to wish I did better after my kids are grown is keep a tidier house. Even though right now that seems like a really important thing to me. I think as I get older, I'll have a lot more perspective on that issue. So right now, I want to be able to be far-seeing enough to just push the house cleaning or push whatever task I'm doing out 5 minutes so I can be in the moment and doing something needful with my kids. All right, this is just food for thought. Remember, guys, no one can mom your kids like you. I'll see you next time. Would you comment and tell me what you think are the most important things that you do with your kids on a daily basis?